And we are live. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Translators On Air. My name is Dmitry Kornyukhov. I'm your host. Joining me tonight, my incredible co-host, Elena Tereshenkova. Hi, Elena.
Hey, everyone.
And our guest, David Miralles Pérez. Hi, David.
Good evening, everyone.
So David is a freelance translator. He's working from English into Spanish. He's the founder of Circa Lingua, and he specializes in legal, financial, marketing, and business translation and interpreting. He also has a passion for languages and copywriting, and he also writes a very popular blog where he shows translators how they can use copywriting skills to improve their business. And this is going to be the topic of our conversation. But before we go there, like always, we have a few announcements. First of all, of course, the second season of Translators On Air has been sponsored by our friends at SMEs. SMEs provides translation technology for free. And if you're interested in checking out their CAT tool that they have developed for translators, just click the green button below this video. Or if you're watching this in the recording, you can always visit the first link in the description. We have quite a few new people here. Hello, Hagen, Federica, Hannah, Natalia, Sid, Christina, Yelena, Shayla, Daniela, Tony, Eugenia, Iria, Libor, Anarita, and Marina. Thank you so much, guys, for joining us today. I see a few faces. I'm just going to give you a quick overview of the platform. So this is happening live right now. We are recording this live. This is not a recording. This is a very engaging kind of webinar. You can use the chat window on the right-hand side. Just post a message there. Tell us your name, what languages you work with, or what kind of text you normally translate, or where in the world you are right now. If you have a specific question and you want me, David, and Yelena to answer your question, you can click an orange button below this video that says ask a question or suggest a topic, and we'll be more than happy to discuss your question. Okay, right. David, how are you?
I'm good. Good. Yeah, it's been a busy day, as I was saying, but yeah, I'm fine, and I was really looking forward to this.
Yeah, we are really excited. Actually, this is the first time all our places has been booked, so you're quite popular.
I'm really happy to hear that, and I really hope to meet the expectations.
Yeah, we hope so too. Very interesting topic of a conversation, actually, and I'm very interested in learning more about copywriting, and I'm sure Yelena is also very interested in this topic. So, David, can you please tell a few things about yourself, where you're from, tell us about your business, what you work with?
Yeah, well, before that, I would like to thank everyone that is here listening to us, and please, Guy, feel free to ask any questions about copywriting. I'll be happy to answer any questions. I'm David. I'm from Spain. I'm based in the UK now, in Edinburgh. It's cold now here. As you said, I'm specialized in Spanish, English into Spanish translations. I'm specialist in business, marketing, finance, and law. I also do some French and Catalan translations as well. I've been working as a translator for over 4 years now. Time flies.
It does.
And yeah, I founded Circa Lingua 3 years ago, I think. And yeah, I've been doing freelance work since then. I run a blog, Circa Lingua, and it won a prize for the best language, professional language blog. Yeah, so I can sit after a
Awesome.
prizes. And yeah, I started to specialize in copywriting as well a couple of years ago, because I was a specialist in marketing. I think we've lost Elena.
Probably she has some connection issues. she'll pop back in. Sometimes it happens. Unfortunately, when you using this live platform, there might be some issues with internet connection. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. So yeah, as I was saying, I specialized in copywriting a couple of years ago because I was specialized in marketing, and I started to notice that well, I was working for a couple of marketing agencies, and I realized that they needed something more. Working with clients specialized in marketing, they needed more than just translating words. They needed, copywriting services, how to write sales copy to meet the objectives of the clients and make their clients sell more. And that's why I decided to specialize in copywriting. And I have to say that I absolutely love it, and it changed my business since I started to implement these techniques in my own business. So I think it's beneficial for both as a side line of service and also for my own business. So I'm really excited to talk about copywriting today.
So can you please define copywriting for translators? What is copywriting?
Sure. Yeah, copywriting is a technique of persuasive writing, and every piece of writing is addressed to achieve an objective. We want our audience to perform an action and do something. Either to buy our services, subscribe to our email list, visit our website, visit our last blog post. It could be anything, but there's always an objective behind every piece of text that we write. For me, copywriting also is a philosophy and a change of mindsets. When we within the world of sales and online marketing, because when we think about sales, we always think about this businessman that goes from one door to another selling something, a Hoover or an encyclopedia, being very pushy and don't really paying attention to his clients' needs. And I think that copywriting is a change of this mindset. We don't sell services or products anymore. We start selling solutions to our clients. Elena, I think last week you said during the interview with Lloyd, you said that you don't really like to sell yourself because it's awkward, and you don't really like to tell people to buy our services. And I think that copywriting kind of naturalize this process. It makes sales come naturally to your business without being pushy or tell people to buy this or buy that. I also like to say that copywriting is what make our clients to fall in love with our brand, because with copywriting we are always trying to be more empathetic and put ourselves in our clients' shoes, and that's how we get to know them and understand their needs, and we can tailor our services to these needs. And yeah, we can forget about being pushy and just offer solutions to our clients' needs.
I actually think that there are practically no translators who like to sell their services, and yeah, okay, there are probably some translators that like doing it, but I think the majority are a bit on the introverted side, and they're not very keen on selling their services and being pushy. So how can translators use copywriting in their business? What are some of the ways?
It can be used in any communication, in any communication, basically. Well, the most typical way of implementing copywriting techniques is obviously our websites, but we can also do it through emails, phone calls, business meetings, every single situation in which we want to communicate or convey a message. It's a good situation to implement these copywriting techniques. Even on social media, even if we're talking to our clients or colleagues, we can always use copywriting techniques to make people click a link, or anything basically.
How could translators use copywriting to gain more visibility and attract more clients?
Well, the first thing translators must do, translators and everyone actually, everyone that has a business or everyone that who is selling something, need to understand who your services are targeted to, and this is a very long process, and you will get to know your audience as your audience grows and develops. But you really need to, take some time and ask yourself all these questions. Who is your ideal client avatar? And you actually need to dig and really need to define this avatar, the profile of your ideal client. And you really need to start, you even need to name it. And this is actually a really good exercise. My ideal client avatar is named Peter, and I know everything about Peter. I know the books he's interested in. I know the magazines he reads. I know where he goes to have coffee every morning. And it looks a bit stupid at the very beginning, but then you realize that doing this exercise actually helps you to understand your clients. You also need to ask yourself the interests of this client and his ambitions. That's very important. Where he wants to get to with his business. It's also important to know his biggest concerns. That's very important because all your products and services will be tailored to these concerns. The obstacles that he's facing, all this, his situation before buying your products or services. You need to know everything that he has to face in his daily lives, and how and this is going to define your offer. It's going to define how you are going to approach this client and how you are going to talk to him, the tone of voice that you're going to use, how to present your offer and where to present it, because you know where this client will be online, so you know where to look for him.
Mm-hmm.
Can we talk in a bit more detail about the client avatar, because it's the first time that I hear or read about this exercise, and I actually tried to do it several times, but then I faced two problems. The first one is, I can get some information about people whom I'd like to work with. For example, self-published authors or app developers, I can get the information about them. But then when people, and you, David, as well, start talking about these small details, like which websites he or she visits, what books he reads, what he likes to have for breakfast, etc., etc. I can come up with all of that, but I just think that it's my imagination, and I feel really stupid, and I'm not sure how that can help me develop the copy for my website, for example. And another problem is that I'm facing right now. I'm actually rewriting the copy for my website at the moment, and I've been doing it for the past couple of months. And the problem I face is that I'd actually like to work with different types of clients. As I mentioned, I'd like to work with self-published authors, with app developers, and probably with some nice boutique translation agencies. What can I do in that case? I can't have 3 websites, right? So how can I, What can you do when you have basically three different client avatars?
Mm-hmm. So, okay, for the first your problems, what I normally do is I defined avatar for each of my specializations, because I'm offering different solutions for each of them. So I've got like 2 different, and I always like to write it down. I've got like 4 different pages, and I focus on 4 different avatars. And what I do is I normally go to my social media platforms and I start doing my research. I start following people in the industry that can be similar to this avatar, and I start analyzing the content that they are sharing, and that thanks to this, I know what pages, what websites they are reading, what content, if they are reading a blog, a magazine, the articles that they are reading, the hot topics in the industry. And little by little, this is a process. It's not something that you can do, in one day. It will take time to develop your portfolio. And as you work with clients, you will be able to ask them questions as well. If you start working with a legal firm, you will be able to speak to them and to visit their website and see what topics they are talking about. And you will start noticing the problems that they are facing. And also, I also like to go to events in my fields of specialization. Yeah. Well, I like to go to events, to translation events as well, obviously, but I always try to take some time to go to events within my specializations to get to know some people and just talk to them, ask them to recommend you a blog, ask them to what they do, basically what in a daily life to get to know them better. And little by little, you will start developing all this knowledge, and you will be able to complete your client avatar with all this information. And the second problem that you had, that you have you open different
types of clients.
That I basically need at least 3 client avatars, and how can I combine them on one website?
Exactly. So if you have 3 client avatars, it's because you're offering 3 solutions to each of them, right?
Yeah.
And you have to address these 3 solutions as different offers. And what I personally do is to create service page. I guess that we will talk about service pages later. I will create a service page for each of these solutions that you're offering.
That's what I actually want to do.
Exactly. For example, Sarah, the clothes, Sarah has like different pages for men clothes, women clothes, kid clothes, home Sarah. They have like different pages for different solutions that they offer. And I think that we have to do the same. We have to tailor our sales page depending on the solutions that we are offering to our different client avatars. There's no way we can create a sales copy for all of our clients. And if we do that, what will happen is that we talk to people in general, and we don't really talk to we start talking in general, and we don't really address our client avatar. So people, when they read our text, they wouldn't feel special. They would be identified with our copy, and we would be losing clients that way.
Another thing I would ask, how important is the psychological traits of those client avatars? And I was actually thinking that these psychological traits, of my different client avatars might be something that actually might be something in common for them. So, for example, they all care about quality. They all want to collaborate with their translator, and things like that. It's just something off the top of my head. How, in your experience, how important are this psychological side of the client avatar for creating good copy for your website?
Psychology is very important, not just in copywriting, but in business in general. I think that when we buy something, this buying process is also a psychological process. It always starts with a need, or with something that we want to satisfy a need, or to avoid something, avoid a problem, or to because just we need something or want to avoid something especially. And when we buy something, we are always with this in our minds. And actually there's a very powerful copywriting technique that says that you have to link what you write, your texts, to one of the 10 sales motivators. I'm going to try. I'm going to try and list them. I'm not sure if I'm going to miss one of them.
I'll count.
So there's 10 of them. These motivators are money, happiness, health, well-being, power, status, love, sex, and I'm missing 2 of them. Well, I can't remember now. But yeah, there are like 10 of them, 10 motivators. And if you link your texts to these motivators, you are going to, add these psychological aspects to our copy. And you are going to make your audience feel identified with your copy. And you are going to kind of remind them why they should buy your products, but without actually saying that. And that's why psychology is so important, because buying is a psychological aspect. And the thing is, we like buying stuff. We love it. We always, when we go to a shop, we go out with all our bags. We're always with a big smile on our faces. And the hard
until we check our bank account.
Exactly. Maybe you will regret it afterwards, but yeah, we like buying, and the hard thing is to sell.
Interesting. David, I have a question about client avatars. So Yelena described her problem that she has actually several client avatars. And you also seems like you have several client avatars. Would you recommend to have several client avatars for all translators, or focus on just one client avatar?
It depends on your specializations. It depends on your services. It depends on the solutions you are offering. If you have different specializations, you normally need like more than one client avatar, because I cannot imagine how you are going to sell the same offer or the same solution to a lawyer, or to a doctor, or to they are very different type of clients, and I think that they need their own profile, and we need to get to know every client we are working with.
And can there be several client avatars within one specialization?
It could be, yeah. If you're offering different solutions to them. Actually, I'm a specialist in legal translation, and I offer services to legal firms, but I also sell services to individuals that need certificates, criminal records translated. And obviously, I'm not going to address the same way to a legal firm that to a student that needs a certificate translated just because he wants to study abroad. They are like very different clients, different, and obviously you need to use a different tone to talk to one or another. And I think that's completely understandable and a very good strategy. The more you specialize your offer, the better.
Yeah, interesting. So let's talk about websites, because obviously website is probably your main tool when it comes to copywriting, apart from social media and mailing list if you have one. So yeah, copyright. Your website is kind of like your main base of operation, and this is where all comes together. What copywriting techniques can translators implement on their website?
Well, it depends on the objective of your website. You normally want to sell your services through your websites, but I know some translators that they use their websites just to gain more visibility or gain more reputation in the industry. So it always depends on the objective of your website. Normally, each page on a website will have an objective behind it. And that's it's very important to carry the structure of our website. I actually published a blog post a couple of weeks ago about this, and I said that our website must be a roadmap to guide our clients through the selling process. We need to engage with them. We need to make them get to know us before actually say, buy my services, you know. And this is a process, and each process needs a call to action. This is very important. Every page on a website must have a call to action, and this must be defined before you start writing your copy, because you want to focus your writing on this call to action. So it depends. It depends on the type of text that you're writing, where you're going to place it within your website. So I think that we're going to talk about the different parts of our website. So yeah, I can answer this question as we go through every single page on a website.
Okay, well, let's talk about the homepage then. What are the tips for the homepage?
So the homepage, this is very interesting because, you know, the most common mistake that I've seen in homepages is that they look like a supermarket. They are full with call to actions. Normally people want to make us subscribe to their email lists, but they also include links to social platforms. They also include links to the blog, especially in e-commerce sites. They normally feature, you know, the popular products, the best sellers of the month, the new products, a new offer. Now that Christmas is approaching, you will see a lot of Christmas offers, and there are a lot of call to actions, and the audience normally gets lost because of this. And another mistake is that you cannot sell your services in your homepage. And I've seen so many homepages with a button at the end saying request quotes or buy my services. And people are not going to sell to buy our services if they don't know you. You know, it's a process. You need to, in your homepage, you need to start defining your tone and your message. And you need to answer a very, very important question. You need to answer what's in this website for me. That's what your audience is asking themselves when they come to your homepage. They need to know why they should stay in this website, because, you know, when we are browsing online, we like to have like different tabs on our browser, and we need to jump from one to another, and we are not very faithful to brands. We like to compare different websites, compare prices, compare what people say about different brands, and the homepage should make our clients to stick to it and spend time on your website. So that's it. You should define the solution that you're offering. In general terms, to try to, obviously you're not going to cover all your client avatar in the same solution, but you should start talking to your different client avatars in a way that they know that they are in the right place, that they can find a solution in this website. You can also talk about the problem that they have, and that you are aware of that problem, and that they've landed in your homepage because they are looking for a solution for this problem. And the homepage, you should also define your USP, your unique selling proposition, because that's what is going to make you different from your competition. And that's a good thing when we have like different tabs in our browser and we are comparing different translation providers. In this case, we need to stand out. And I think the homepage is the ideal place to establish your USP and to tell your clients why you are different from the rest, what they are going to achieve through your website that is not available in other websites.
And what about the call to action? What call to action?
The call to action
is appropriate for the homepage.
So the call to action for a homepage must be either did you like my homepage? Then get to know more about it. And you should send your clients to your either profile, your About Me page, if they really want to. Well, it depends on your strategy, obviously, but one option is to send them to the About Me page so they can get to know you, or you can send them directly to your service page so they can get to know more about the services you're offering. It depends on your strategy and how you use your website, obviously, but yeah, the homepage should increase the desire of your audience, so they want to get to know you more and they want to get to know your services more and more. It could be like a sneak peek of what you offer.
But should there be at least the ways to contact you in case of clients don't actually want to learn more? Maybe they are ready to buy.
If they are ready to buy, it's because they normally had already visited your website before, and they are not really. If they are visited your website before, they are not really going to pay attention to your homepage because they probably have already read it before, so they know where the information is, and they will go directly to what they are looking for in your website. I think the homepages are more focused on new clients that have landed in your website for the first time. And homepages are the ones that are indexed better in search engines. So people normally are going to land in your homepage. Like your visitors are normally going to land in your homepage first, and that's why I think we should target new clients in our homepage.
Interesting. I have a question about USP. You talked about USP, and I think it's very important. But a lot of times, it's very challenging especially for new translators or people who have been working only for several years. How can translators define their USP? Can you give a few examples of what a good USP for translators can be?
Yeah, you need to ask yourself, why do you do what you do? Because that's what's going to make you different from the rest. Why are you translating? Why do you like translating? What do you want to achieve with your business? What do you want to get to with your business? I really think that each of us has born with a mission in our lives, and that mission must be reflected in your business. You need to know what change in the world you want to make. And for example, I love businesses, and I know that my translation services are targeted to develop my clients' businesses. And that's why I target my services to SMEs and small and medium enterprises and entrepreneurs and startups. You should come up with your own USP. You can start asking questions like, okay, what's the other people doing? And how can I do what I do being different from that? And normally it's not about what we do, but how we do it. And why we do it. This is also related to the values of our business and the ethics behind our business.
There was a great TED talk. I'm not sure what the name of the guy was. Simon Sinek could be. I will find the link. Yeah, it's start with why. Yeah, it was all about it's not what we do, it's about why we do it, and people don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it. Right. It's a great talk. We'll include the link in the show notes. Yeah,
I really enjoyed this video. Yeah, it really resonates with all the entrepreneurs and business people and people who are selling stuff, because we are not selling something, we are selling why we are doing this, and this should be reflected in our copywriting. And
exactly.
Yeah, so let's talk about other pages of our website. So you said we have a homepage, and we have the homepage kind of gives like a sneak peek to what we have to offer, and entices clients to learn more about our services. So what makes a good About Me page?
About me, well, the most common mistake about me pages is to just talk about ourselves. I've seen so many translators that just write down their CVs on the About Me page, and that's it. They forget about it, and this is such a big mistake, because normally the About Me page is the second most visited page on our website. At least it is in my case, and the objective here is to reassure your audience that they are in the right place, that you are here to help them, and that you are the ideal candidate to solve their problems. You shouldn't just, people don't really care about your qualifications, that you got an A in legal translations. They care about themselves, as sad as this may sound. But yeah, they care about their needs, and that's why we need, in our About Me, we need to tackle their problems. And I like to touch a raw nerve there and make people realize that they actually have a problem. Because in the translation industry, I think that one of the main problems is that people are not always aware of the fact that they actually need translations. When we buy a phone, a mobile phone, we know that we need a mobile phone to contact friends, family, whatever. And we actually need that we know that we need a phone, and that's why we already have that in our mind. We don't really think about it that much. But with translations, people are not really aware that they need translations until they need it, and that's why we need to make our audience aware that they actually need translations, that they actually can benefit from translation services. And I like to do that in the About Me page and the service page as well. I need to talk about their problems, and talk about negative aspects of not hiring a translator, for example. And yeah, I think that the About Me page is the ideal place to do that. Let your clients know what their problem is, and just tell them why you are the ideal candidate to find a solution of their problems.
What about building trust? Because a lot of time, yes, you made me aware that I have a problem, but who the hell are you? Why am I supposed to believe you? Why am I supposed to buy your services? How to build trust with a potential client who's kind of on the fence. He's reading about your page. He nods along. Yes, he has a problem. He needs good translators. But how can he trust me, a guy from the internet he never heard of before?
True, that's really, really a good question. And the About Me page also makes your business more human. that also helps to gain more trust, because they know that there's actually someone behind the business. And you can also use social proof. You can ask your clients for a recommendation that you can use on your website. And I think it's better when people talk positively about your business, and it's more powerful than you talking about your own business and saying how wonderful you are. So social proof is a very powerful tool to gain trust, and also just being human and put at your client's level and actually understand their problems and explain them how you are going to actually solve their needs.
So you should explain the problem. You should make the clients aware that he actually has a problem, and then you can start building trust by providing social proof. How do you provide social proof? I mean, for example, testimonials, right? You can use a variety of different plugins on websites that kind of adds testimonial, but you are the one who's writing those. I mean, obviously your clients gave you this testimonial, but there is no way to check that, right? There is no way to see that this client has actually left that testimonial. It's who designed the page, who created a nice looking testimonial slider or something like that. So there is no connection between this person and the actual person. That's why on my website, actually, at bestrussiantranslator.com, I have redesigned my page completely. It looks absolutely different from what I had before, and it doesn't actually have a homepage. I mean, the homepage is a combination of everything, and I try something different. I ask a few of my clients to give me a recommendation on Twitter. Some of my clients, a few localization companies and a video game developer, went on Twitter. They said, hey, Dmitry Kornikhov is a good translator. And then I used these tweets and I embedded them in the website. So in that way, there is a direct connection to that person. So every time when someone is on my page, they see a tweet about me, a tweet from a real human being. They can go to Twitter, check their online profile. So I think this is a much better approach than just creating some random slider with words of people who you cannot find online. What do you think?
It is. Because you can actually see that these opinions are coming from a real person. And also another thing that you can do is that you can add a picture of this person. You obviously have to ask for permission before doing it.
Of course.
And you need to, and you can also add a link to the websites or LinkedIn profiles to actually prove that they are real people that give you a recommendation.
What other means of building trust can translators use? What about, I don't know, success stories or something like that? Have you ever seen this implemented?
Yeah, I've never done it myself, but I think that's a good technique. I think that trust comes with reputation. You need to work on your reputation in your industry as well. Obviously, you need to just talk about your colleagues, be involved in events in your industry, provide useful content to your audience so people can come to you and get to know you and start to know that you are actually a good source that they can use to solve their problems and their questions. And you do that with time. You cannot just do it with a strategy. You need to actually work on that as you develop your business over time. With time, you will start receiving positive opinions, and people will start using word of mouth to recommend you, and that's how other people will get to know you. And this comes with over time. There's not something that you can do one day to become a an authority in your field.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I also think that you can't make it with a strategy. So you just think, okay, now I do this, this, and that, and then I'll be an authority. I just think it doesn't work that way. Because I think the main thing that you need to build trust, as well as building trust with clients, to build trust with clients and your colleagues, is to want to add value to them, probably, both to clients and colleagues. And I think it's the best way to build relationships and trust.
Exactly. And what you can do is that you can plan some actions that you are going to take to make people get to know you. You can start blogging. You can attend different events during the year to start getting to know people. You can start following people and on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media platform you are using, and getting involved little by little. You shouldn't be pushing this either, because otherwise you will be seen as an intruder, like, who is this guy who's, you know what I mean? You have to be little and in a natural way. You need to be natural all the time. People are human, and we cannot be perfect from the very beginning in our businesses. And that's a good thing, because people will notice that you are being yourself, and you will become an authority in your field with time and hard work, obviously.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a question about blogging, because blogging is important part of any business. I mean, content creation should be ongoing. If you're building an online business, you can't really succeed without meaningful content. I mean, you can create about me page, you can create a page about your services, but it doesn't stop there. You have to constantly create something valuable. And when we say valuable, it can be valuable for our clients or for people of our industry. And what do you think is better, creating content that is targeted directly on our clients and their problems, or creating content that is for translators? Because a lot of translators, as you know, myself included, Elena, you sometimes, we write blogs that are popular, that are aimed at translators, because we want to give back in this way to our community. We want to teach them something. We want to share something that we've learned, so other people wouldn't make our mistakes. But in terms of attracting clients, this probably is not the best approach. I mean, you can indirectly create attract clients that are translators themselves, who can refer you. But in terms of return on investment, so to speak, blogging, when you create a blog post for translators, they don't always work. And a lot of people are having problems with this, because they think that if you blog about translation and translation-related topic, you're wasting your time. What do you think about that?
It depends on the objective for your blog. What are you going to use your blog for? Do you want to gain reputation? Then you have to help your colleagues. Do you want to gain clients? Then you have to help your clients. It depends on the strategy that you are going to go for. Mine is more targeted to clients. I actually have found some really good clients through my blog. But I think that writing content for translators is a good idea if you want to improve your trust and reputation in the industry. So it depends. The thing is, you have to ask yourself, what do I want the blog for? Do I want to attract clients? Do I want to attract colleagues? Do I want people in my industry get to know me, or do I want people in my fields of expertise get to know me?
Mm-hmm.
It depends.
So it all depends on the goals of the blog. I think, yeah, you're absolutely right. So can you give some sort of advice for people who want to attract clients through blogging? What can they blog about? how they can make their blog post valuable and useful for clients, because we work in a very niche field. If we think about it, I mean, of all my friends, of all my family, people never hire translators. I'm the only translator they have ever known, and they never had a need, to hire a translator. So something we could write about potentially is not going to be a very hot topic, right? You don't go to the blog of your dentist, you don't go to the blog of your gardener or your chimney sweeper. So how can we create a blog post that is both authentic, doesn't feel like I'm trying to push my services through creating this imaginary idea of that my client, the reader needs my services, and yet still stay human? I don't know.
So are you talking about writing for clients or colleagues?
Yeah, for clients.
Clients. Okay, so well, we have already talked about client avatars, so I don't want to repeat myself, but it's really important to get to know what content your client avatar is looking for. And I always ask myself, what is the one thing that my client avatar can't wait to read? And that's how I write all my posts. I always write a piece of content that I know for sure that my client avatar is going to benefit from. And then I always try to adapt the tone and the voice of my writing to my client, because normally, you know, in our industry, we use all these fancy words that we are used to it and we are familiarized, and we may think that everyone knows what they mean, you know, cat tools, source text, target text. But if I tell one of my clients that I use cat tools, they're going to, you've got a cat with you. Well, what's a cat tool? So I prefer to say that I use a piece of software that will make their texts more coherent, and I will be able to deliver the translation faster. You know, it's also about adapting the tone of our copy to our clients, and that's why we need to apply the principle of empathy. We need to get down to our clients' level and get to know them, get to know their needs, and offer solutions through our content as well. And that's how we make people to come back to our website, to get interested in our business, and eventually they will click the service page and they will buy from us. They're interested.
Do you think it's a good idea to add some sort of a hook at the end of the article for clients, for example? If you're writing something about that is interesting for a client, something that solves their problem, or something that something they never heard before and that helped him, do you think it's a good idea to add some sort of a call to action at the end of the post, like subscribing to newsletter for clients or something like that?
Definitely, yeah, and I do that. At the end of my posts, I always use a box so people can subscribe if they are interested in my content, so they receive all the contents that I write to their inboxes. So they don't really have to come back to my website to check if I've published something new, and they just can wait for my email and they will have my content in their inboxes. And I think that's a very good idea to increase your email list. I think it's very important to have one nowadays. Every online business needs an email list, and you need to provide quality content to increase this email list and increase it over time. And I think that quality content, it's also, people are going to share your content if it's valuable, and that's going to make more and more people get to know your website. And this call to action is really good to keep in touch with all these new people that are visiting blog posts, or, you know, yeah.
And
So do you send the whole article to your email list subscribers, or just a snippet with the link to the article on your website?
When I send emails, I always try to customize them. I offer new content that I don't publish on my blog. Otherwise, it would make sense to have an email list if you just email them your blog post. And actually, I've got like different segments and different lists, and I target my content to those who are interested in my blog, those who are interested in my services, those who are interested in marketing translations, legal translations, and I've got a very segmented list. So I don't just email my blog posts to all my subscribers, otherwise I think I will get
managing a mailing list could be quite difficult, especially if you have different target audiences, different client avatars. But it's manageable. MailChimp, I think, is a great tool for separating. You use MailChimp. I'm actually subscribed to your newsletter, and I want to tell you that I've been subscribed for quite some time. And I occasionally open it and read it, and I've noticed that your copywriting has actually improved.
It does. It does improve when you start using it over time.
Because a long time ago, I think most of the time it was just something like go read the blog post on my website. Now it's more creative. You try a lot of different things with the titles, and they actually work. I want to tell you that they are very enticing to click on. So
thank you.
I want to compliment you on that. I'm gonna give you credit when it's due. Because I do a lot of email marketing. Translators on Air, my personal blog, the open mic, plus emails for clients. So I do a ton of writing and for absolutely different people. And it's very complicated. It's very hard to get things quite right, and you have to try, and gradually you will improve.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that headlines are very, very important in copywriting. People say that 80% of the success of a blog post comes from the title of the blog post. And you really, really need to pay attention to the title. And I didn't really pay much attention when I was starting my blog. And I noticed a great change when I started to, come up with more elaborated headlines for my blog posts and titles, and not focus so much on SEO, but focus more in the benefits of the content that you're writing. And a good technique that I use to write headlines or titles are a verb plus a benefit. Win more clients. This is very simple example, but start with a verb and a benefit, and this really works very well for me. And I normally, for every blog post I write, I have to come up with at least 20 titles, and then I start I start like a process of I create like a very simple one, and then I start creating like different ones and more elaborated ones, and that's how I come up with the perfect title for my blog post.
That's a very good process. I wish I had more time to actually have the same process, because it probably takes hours to just.
It really does.
To narrow down the perfect one.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, we are almost. We've been talking for almost an hour now. Guess we can answer a few questions from our audience. Yelena, do you want to read a few questions? Maybe?
Yeah, sure. So Tony wants to know more about tailoring copy to specific audiences. What can you tell about that?
Okay, I think we already talked about this. You need to have client avatar for each of your audiences, and you need to have a service page for every client avatar that you have created, because you're offering different solutions. So you really need to guide every person that comes to your website to the right information, the information that they are looking for. And that's why we cannot cover all our audience in the same way. And that's why we need to be specific on what we are writing, and we need to create different service pages for our different specializations and the different solutions that we are offering to our different client avatars. It's the only way.
Talking about service pages and going back to calls to action. So different service pages are actually the pages where we can finally put the call to action, like get a quote, or contact me to get a quote, things like that, right?
Or download a free guide.
Exactly, yeah. A service page is like a sales page for a translator. We need to list the benefits of each line of service that we are offering. Another common mistake is, list the features of your services. I've seen so many features, like I always pay attention to details, but we need to be more creative and focus on benefits instead of how we work. And we need to okay, if you pay attention to details, what you can tell your clients is that I don't know, his reputation is not going to be damaged because your translations are spot on. It's like showing the benefits instead of listing how you do your translations. And yeah, the service page is where the magic happens. Is where you are going to tell your clients that that's actually the solution, and you want to increase the desire for them to buy from you.
Yeah. Next question.
So the next question comes from Francesca. She asks, how can a translator with little experience use copy efficiently to create trust and gain more customers? Probably we discussed that as well, right?
Anyone can use copywriting, no matter how experienced you are. You are always providing a solution, and you have to convey this solution through words. No matter if you are starting up now or you've been in the industry for years and years. We all need to convey our solution to our clients. So yeah, again, you need to think about your client avatar and start digging and see how you can help your clients.
Yeah, so basically understanding the problem of your ideal clients and coming up with a solution, right?
That's it.
I really like the next question. Daniela asks, what is the difference between good copywriting and just plain bragging? How much confidence is too much or too little?
There's too much bragging online. So how long a text must be? So this depends on the knowledge of your audience. If your audience doesn't really know what you are offering, you need to write a long copy explaining everything, basically. What you want to do is to pay attention to headings, because we are always busy when we are on the internet, and very few people read every single word we write. So we need to pay attention to headings and headlines, and we need to make sure that our copy can be understood just by reading the headlines. So what you are doing is you are writing content a lot of content that people with little knowledge will be interested in, because obviously they need this knowledge before buying your services and products. But you are also helping those with more knowledge to go faster, go straight to the point, explain what you are doing in your headlines, and you need to adapt again the copy that you're writing to your client's needs and your client's knowledge. Another thing is that the more pricey your services are, the longer your copy will be, because you will have to justify your prices in your copy. So there's no way you're going to sell your services or a expensive product. We're talking maybe about more than £600-700. There's no way you're going to sell this product with a short copy. You need to explain you need to justify your prices, and you have to do this, explaining the benefits and explaining why your client must pay this price and what he's getting from these investments. So knowledge is very important to define the length of your copy, and also the price. If you want to sell a pricey product, you need to explain into more details your solution and what people are getting from this product or service.
And I think that probably the way not to sound like you're bragging is to be customer focused and not self-focused, and to write about the benefits for the customer and not about how good you are. So exactly. It's just, if you write about the customer, then you're good.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
You can always test what you written. I mean, you can always ask friends and colleagues to do a reality check for you, because if you're bragging too much, and you should always go to people who are most critical, who criticize you the most, and not just your friends. Yeah. Because they're gonna give you some real advice on if it's gonna work and if it's not gonna work. Yeah.
It's a good idea to test your copy with people, even if they are not from the industry, just to see how they interact with it and see if they can actually find the information they are looking for. That's another good idea.
Yeah, that's why I often ask a few of my friends who are absolutely have no relation to translation industry to read something I wrote and to give me advice, and it's really helpful. Even though they're my friends, they are not in the same melting pot with me, so they have an absolutely different perspective, and they see the things that I cannot see, because maybe I'm too focused on my industry, maybe I'm just inside of my head. And inviting people who are have relative experience, who can give you good advice, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, it is.
So the last question, right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Okay, will you read it or will I read it?
Yeah, I can read it. It's not quite within the topic of our conversation, but still a very interesting question. Francesca asks, how can translators find out if their copyright has been infringed, and what actions can they take against it?
Okay, so I'm not a legal expert, and yeah, there are like different, specifics in different countries, and I can basically what I do if I want to see if someone has copied my content is I can paste a paragraph of one of my blog posts on Google and see if something appears with the exact same words. How you can tackle that, I'm not sure, because I'm not a legal expert. But you can always try to talk to this person. Normally, when you find out that someone has copied your content, you can go to the administrator of the website and talk to him, and they will normally remove this content from their websites, just out of embarrassment most of the time. But if they don't, you may want to contact someone who is specialized in these issues, and maybe a lawyer, and someone that can actually give you legal advice on how to deal with that.
Yeah, I think there are tools online that can do a search for your content for you. I don't remember the names of the tools, but I think I saw a few tools online that can help you prevent this by actively searching for mentions of your content, if it's reused by someone, either intentionally or unintentionally, and then they will notify you. I need to do a Google search on this because it's a very important topic, and a lot of people who create content, they need to know how to be protected. So I'm pretty sure there are tools that can help you prevent this, or at least proactively search for copycats.
Definitely.
And of course, legal requirements in every country are different. Every country has different copyright laws. So the best way to start is just going to your lawyer and asking them how you can protect your content, what rights you have, and how you can claim a complaint, and what are the rules there. But David gave actually good advice. The easiest way is just to contact the offender first, and most of the time they probably be very scared of any legal action or something like that, or public Twitter shaming. So they're probably gonna take it down.
That also works.
Well, it works, but it might make you look bad, even though if you're right. But it's easier to solve problems by talking to people directly before taking everything online. Yeah.
I also think that Google penalizes websites that have copied someone else's content.
Yes.
And Google knows who was the first to publish the content. So
absolutely.
It makes me wonder why people do that in the first place. So when it comes to someone else's website content or blog posts and things like that, first of all, translation profession is quite how can I put it? Well, most of translators know each other, and we know each other's websites, and we read each other's blog posts. So when we see that someone else has copied the content of another translator, we'll probably give the heads up to that translator, and then you'll find yourself in a very embarrassing situation. So I don't know why you would do that, and you won't get any benefits in terms of, I don't know, search engine optimization and things like that, just because it's penalized by Google copying other people's content.
That can also ruin like all your efforts on building trust, as we were saying. Just by doing that, in a minute you can lose all your reputation and all your trust that you've been working for years.
Well, maybe sometimes people do it unintentionally. Maybe they're been following you, and they're big fans, and they do it kind of subconsciously because they like how you read, how you write. They like your writing style, and maybe subconsciously they try to implement it into their own writing. Maybe they don't mean to do this, but sometimes that happens. So
yeah, it's good to take ideas from your colleagues, but definitely you cannot copy the exact same content.
It should always be your words, and you should always put create your own writing style and say it add your own opinion at least.
Exactly.
Is there anything else you'd like to add to what's been already said, David?
Really, we've covered so many topics.
We did.
We could be talking for ages about this topic, and
yeah, we can see.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting topic.
It is. So if you're interested in copywriting, I write a blog on that. I normally write weekly. tips on copywriting and how copywriting can help your businesses. So just come to my blog and read it.
We'll put the link to your blog in the show notes, and also to the article you mentioned somewhere at the beginning about the website, creating website content, right?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm. We'll put the link to that blog post as well. It's been such a great episode. I say that about each and every one of our episodes. They're all great, but I personally learned a lot, like a lot. I've been wanting to ask that question about client avatar for a couple of years now, and I got my chance. So thank you so much for joining us tonight. I think it was a very useful episode. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. Thank you everyone for your questions. It's always a pleasure to answer your questions, even if they are not directly related to the topic of our conversation. We usually take all the questions and we like to answer them. And I hope you found this episode useful. If you are watching a recording of this episode, you can go to our website at translatorsOnAir.com and subscribe to our newsletter so that you don't miss the next episodes. And also, please don't forget to check out the website of our sponsor at smartcat.ai. And we'll see you next week.
Thank you so much for watching.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.